Yo, what is up guys, your boy IzuKage here with part 3 of What If Naruto was Goku Black's reincarnation. So before we get into it guys, make sure you check out the Discord, link will be in the description. And if you have a what if idea, make sure to put hashtag idea next to it. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, in the last part, Naruto took Hiruzen's life and placed a clone to replace him. With the Leaf Village now under Naruto's control, he put in some laws which are gonna get more crazy as the what if goes on. Thinking about it, Naruto is kinda making a dictatorship. Anyways, Naruto soloed Kakashi in the bell test, easily taking him down, but didn't kill him. And later on they took Tazuna to the land of waves where Naruto killed Zabuza and took Haku and Gato back to the village to be locked up. So that's where we start. Hiruzen, aka Naruto's clone, brought Gato and Haku to the Konoha torture interrogation force, where Ibiki and his team start sifting through their memories, and while they were doing this, Hiruzen demands a full copy of both their memories. And everyone on the team is confused. One, why would the Hokage need this? And two, this would take weeks. Hiruzen then looks towards Inoichi, who then looked down, because you see the Yamanaka clan has a special jutsu that can speed up this process to only an hour, but this leaves the caster completely drained and overuse may lead to death. So Inoichi and his team of Yamanaka members went through the process of printing out each of their memories into scrolls, and after 2 hours they gave Hiruzen. Getting these scrolls over the course of a day, he reached through them, locating all of Gato's bases and the ruins of the Yuki clan. So he assigns a Ambu squad to locate the bases and see what they can find from the ruins. Now, we switch to Naruto and Team 7. That day, Kakashi called them to the training ground to tell them about the Chunin exams. He goes on to explain, his reasoning to let them participate even though they had little experience. And unsurprisingly, Naruto and Sasuke were the first two to accept this, with Sakura, shyly following along because of her dear Sasuke-kun. So, he tells them it's 2 weeks away, so they have some time to train, and with that he rushes the three, trying to surprise attack them. Sasuke barely dodges and Sakura gets kicked to the ground, and when Kakashi turns to kick Naruto, he grabs his legs and starts squeezing down on it, creating small fractures in his tibia. Kakashi winced in pain and tries using his other foot, but Naruto grabbed that too and threw Kakashi into a nearby tree. Naruto then said, "I guess I don't have to train Kakashi." And Kakashi, still out of breath, responds, "Yeah, Naruto, that's it for you today." And he begins walking to his house. So after getting all the information from the Hokage clone, Goku Black has been thinking of what he's going to do with this world, this new world that he's in. And one thing he figured out is that even though the Hokage is the leader of the Leaf Village, he has no say in what happens in the Land of Fire. The feudal lord of, the Land of Fire controls everything within it. And this goes for the other 4 nations as well. So Naruto decides to leave the village for a bit. He first goes to the Fire Temple, and this is the same temple with the 12 Guardian Ninjas, which Asuma was a former member of, and where the feudal lord of the Land of Fire resides. Under the cover of night, Naruto puts on a Oni mask, which is a mask with the face of a demon on it. Naruto, still flying over, starts charging up a large ki blast. Everyone in the temple is looking up to see what they think is like a white sun coming down onto them. And once the blast hit the temple, it grows, he doubles in size into a massive sphere, completely destroying the temple and everyone in it, leaving a large crater. But Naruto wasn't done. He started heading to the Land of Mist, and at this point the Land of Mist is still being ruled by Yagura, who is controlled by Obito. At this time Naruto reaches, which isn't long because he's flying, he's flying very fast. There is a civil war taking place. Because of Obito's influence, the mist has fallen into dark times, with many ninjas defecting from the village like Zabuza and Kisame, and many others dying on missions. In this civil war, it's Yagura, the Three Tails Jinchuriki, and his most trusted ninjas versus Mei Terumi leading a small army of ninjas and civilians fighting, for Yagura to stop his madness, basically destroying the land of mist. So Naruto hovering over the battlefield, it's painfully obvious that Mei is losing. Yagura and his men are far outclassing them in skill, and Mei is really the only capable ninja on her side. The others either can't use chakra or know little jutsu. So with this, Naruto descends onto the battlefield, and many of Yagura's men rush Naruto, but Naruto using his Keyblade starts like hacking down ninjas as if he was Madara in the 4th Great Ninja War. So now no one wanted to go near Naruto. He saw what he could do in like a split second. But yeah. So he starts walking to Mei and said, "Work with me and you'll win." And she replies like, how do I know I can trust you?" Naruto doesn't say anything to this and points to the dead bodies and rushes back into the battle. This time not getting his hands dirty. He sends out multiple small key spheres, and when any enemy touches it, they immediately just disintegrate. So after wiping out basically all of Yagura's forces, Naruto approaches Yagura himself, who, enraged, turned into his tail beast form, and Mei and the others are scared, like they could never beat the Three Tails, and it started rushing Naruto. And Naruto just simply stopped it with a finger, like flicking it back a bit. And then he flew behind the Three Tails, grabbing its like 3 tails, and started spinning it around and around before releasing it into the forest next to the village. This caused a huge crash and basically destroyed that forest. So the Three Tails, who landed on its back, flipped itself over and started charging up a tail beast bomb. Naruto then countered this with his own large ki blast, overwhelming the tail beast bomb, then hitting the Three Tails, knocking Yagura out of that form. And with a slice from his Keyblade, Naruto took him out, killing Yagura. And because he's the Jinchuriki, this also killed, quote-unquote, the Three Tails. But we know the Tail Beast will reform, so yeah. So with Yagura dead, the Mist elects Mei to be the new IzuKage. So a day after, that all happened, she asks Naruto to see her. He goes and, she thanks him for everything and if there's anything he needs, and just basically praising Naruto. So while she's doing that, she turns around to look. She's talking and she's saying, "Look how beautiful the mist is now." I mean, it really isn't. It's only been a day. But yeah, she's saying, she can change the mist with his help. And Naruto says, "I helped you, yes, but for my own gain. I will never stoop so low to help you mortals, out of the kindness of my heart." Confused, Mei turns around but gets a Keyblade shoved right through her guts. She falls onto Naruto's shoulders and with her last breath asks why. Naruto tries holding back his laughter and says, "You're all just playthings to me. I'm going to use this second chance at life to have some fun." So he gets rid of her body and creates another clone to pose as Mei and rule over the Mist Village. So you may realize Naruto is sort of turning into Goku Black, and in part 1, he was just influenced by him. Now he is talking as if he were him. So as the parts go on, the line between Naruto and Goku Black will basically be erased, and the names really could be used interchangeably. So with that, Naruto starts heading back to the village, and yeah, let's introduce the ship. So let's have a flashback to around a year ago, and we switch points of view to someone you wouldn't really expect, Kaguya. In her seal on the moon, over the years, she has grown very impatient, and she's thinking Black Zetsu sure is taking his sweet time. So with that, she sends out a sort of distress message, something only Otsutsuki members can sense. And this distress signal, in hopes that a member of her clan will sense it. And someone does. This is a female Otsutsuki member, actually Kaguya's niece. So without informing any of the higher-ups of the clan, she just dips and, starts heading towards Earth. And there's somewhere in space, so this will obviously take a while for her to reach, so that's why I said like a year flashback. So she reaches Earth within a year, and on entering Earth's atmosphere, she was going way too fast and couldn't control her movements. So while falling through the Earth's atmosphere, Naruto is on his way back to the village when he senses something familiar, something similar to the gods. He looks up to see this ball of light falling from the sky, and he watches as it crashes into the ground. He goes to take a closer look and realizes that this is a girl, and normally he wouldn't really care, but there's just an aura of divinity around her. So he picks her up and flies back to the leaf. It takes about 10 minutes, and when he finally arrives, he goes to his house in the Forest of Death, where he rolls out a futon so she can rest. The next day, he wakes up and goes to check on the girl, but she's not there anymore. Then he hears like a pan fall, like a frying pan. So he checks the other room and sees her struggling to make food. Now, Naruto got a good look at her, and I'll put up what she looks like on screen right now. Just admire all of that. And Naruto asks her like who she is and why did she fall out of the sky. So she goes on to explain, saying, "My name is Miyuki Otsutsuki, and she's here to rescue her aunt." Naruto, still confused, asks, "Who's your aunt?" And she says, "Kaguya Otsutsuki." The name rings a bell for Naruto, like his Hokage clone was reading up on the history of the village when he came across how Kaguya sealed in the moon. So with that, Miyuki continues cooking, and when she's finished, it's all completely burnt, literally inedible, and Miyuki looks like this is the best thing she's made, but Naruto just face palms and grabs the plate and throws everything away. And she's like devastated, like, "How could you do this?" And starts playfully punching Naruto. And, saying that like that was my life's work and you just threw it away like it was trash. So Naruto showed her how it's done and made some, some eggs and bacon or something. And when she tastes it, her eyes light up and starts scarfing down all the food, thinking, they don't have anything nearly this good back home. So Naruto is just looking on, like laughing, which, makes her kind of embarrassed. So he tells her to make herself at home because he's got to go take an exam today. And with that, she wishes him good luck, and Naruto goes to the academy for the Chunin exams. There he meets up with, his team, Sasuke and Sakura, waiting for him, and they walk in. When they walk in, they see this crowd gathering to enter the door, but they all see through the genjutsu and just move upstairs, not telling anyone. And this catches the attention of Lee, Neji, and Tenten. Upstairs, Lee runs up to them and asks Sasuke for a fight, but, he can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, which is dumb, but sure. Sasuke, being dumb, accepts and gets folded like an omelet. Lee is way faster than him, and he kept landing taijutsu blows that he couldn't block or parry. Sasuke tries using his one-tome Sharingan, but it's still useless against Lee. And when Lee goes to use Primary Lotus, he's stopped by Guy Sensei, who gives him the usual speech about youth. So with that, they enter the first stage of the Chunin exams. In this, Naruto easily answers all the questions because of his battle experience, and these questions are about ninja battles, trajectory of shuriken and all stuff like that. So with that, with his experience and his knowledge from his Hokage clone, so he easily completes all of that. So that goes by, and when Uncle busts through the window, she tells everyone to meet her at the Forest of Death. So they do. During Uncle's speech, she mentions that killing is allowed, and hearing this, Naruto gets a bit of a smile on his face, from this, and he accidentally leaks a bit of bloodlust. making everyone terrified to go up against him. But people like Gaara just couldn't wait. Like, this guy matches my bloodlust. Like, I want a piece of him, no homo. So they get their scrolls and line up at the gates to enter the forest, and as soon as the signal is given, Naruto, immediately knows where to go because he's been living in the forest for years and years. So he first goes to the caves to check if anyone would shelter there because, that's a logical place to seek shelter. And wouldn't you know it, they find a sand team trying to start a fire. Naruto just mercilessly stabs them through the heart with his blade and takes their scrolls. Sakura just couldn't stomach watching this and almost vomits, while Sasuke, who grew up here while he was training, he confronts Naruto and he says, "Hey, why did you kill them? We could have just taken the scrolls." And Naruto, who was walking away, turns to face Sasuke and said, "And I don't know why you're speaking. You should know your place before you end up with them." And with that, he starts walking off. And with a still sick Sakura and pissed Sasuke following behind him. And before they started running like from tree to tree, Naruto decides it'll just be easier to teleport. They have both their scrolls, so what's the use running and wasting energy? So he grabs both Sasuke and Sakura's hands and teleported to the tower. And they walk in, and because they finished in like 20-30 minutes, the people watching the security cameras were all shocked. They immediately called for Anko, but she wouldn't be here for the next hour. We wouldn't be here for the next hour. So with 2 days to spare, Team 7 is chilling in their rooms in the mansions and doing light workouts to keep keep fit. I don't know. They're just doing light workouts because they're ninjas. I don't know. So they do that until everyone come and the preliminary rounds are announced. The matchups weren't any different from canon. Sakura ties, Sasuke beats the guy he was going up against. Lee still gets, his legs and arms crushed. And for Naruto and Kiba, this matchup is just sad. And, because, I'll give it some spice. I'll leave you guys off with something lit. Kiba tries doing his fang over fang, trying to best Naruto, like trying to do something against him. And Hinata is in the stands cheering on for Kiba because, they're friends. And Naruto and Hinata would, like, never be friends in this alternate universe. So all of Kiba's attacks literally did nothing to Naruto, and while Kiba was catching his breath from the continuous attacks, Naruto says, "Kiba, I really don't see why you try. The gap between us, our strengths are immeasurable, and to cement that fact, let me show you the power of a god." So Naruto starts powering up, screaming at the top of his lungs, the ground trembling because of his power, and the weather changing. Naruto then exploded, with power blowing a hole through the roof, a reddish pink-purple aura surrounding him, and his hair turning light pink. Just the density of his ki alone forced everyone to their knees, some being completely pressed up against the ground. So Kiba is on his knees and he looks to Akamaru, who is just pinned to the ground so he can't move. Then he turns to Naruto, who has his hand pointed towards him in an open palm. A sphere of pure energy started forming and growing bigger and bigger. Naruto then shot it at Kiba, and as it approached him, Kiba's memory just started flashing through his mind. The things he did wrong, all the things he hadn't done. No, all the things he would never get to do. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, like, and if you like my content in general, why not subscribe? Again, Discord links in the description, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next What If.